The trial to decide if DCF was negligent and how it handled the case involving a 7-month-old boy wrapped up today. Aaden Moreno was killed in 2015 after his father threw him off a bridge, and today attorneys from both sides gave their closing arguments. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is live in Waterbury with more on what the attorneys had to say. Alicia.
Annette, the attorney representing Aaden Moreno's estate said DCF should have done more to protect Aaden and placed him in temporary custody. However, the assistant attorney general has a different argument.
There has to be a sufficient evidentiary basis to do it, and it wasn't here.
Assistant Attorney General John Tucker argued that at the time of the incident, DCF had no reason to take temporary custody of Aaden. Throughout the trial, several DCF workers testified that they were aware of the abuse allegations and threats made by Tony Moreno to both his son Aaden and his mother Adrian Oyola. However, Tucker told the judge that this did not mean Aaden was in imminent danger.
There was a stale, more than 4-month-old threat. There was low-level domestic violence. None of that qualified for either 96-hour hold or an order of temporary custody.
Keith McCabe, who is representing Aaden's estate, said in his closing argument that there was more than enough evidence for DCF to do so.
So despite the fact that DCF recognized this was a domestic violence situation, they never conducted that safety assessment.
McCabe said that DCF should have conducted a safety assessment of Aaden with his father prior to him getting custody. On June 29th in 2015, a family court judge dropped a temporary restraining order that prevented Moreno from having any contact with Aaden and the boy's mom. DCF workers testified that dropping the restraining order weighed heavily in their assessment of Aiden's safety.
If you've got a Superior Court judge that looks at all this evidence, that makes credibility determinations, and determines there isn't sufficient evidence to support a restraining order, of course you're going to look at that.
Days after the restraining order was dropped, Aaden was killed when his father threw him off the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown on July 5th.
That was Aiden's last moments. Literally tortured, drowning, suffocating, not being able to swim.
McCabe said that DCF had the duty to act in Aiden's best interest regardless of any court decision, which he says DCF failed to do.
If DCF, as of June 30, had instituted either a 96-hour hold or had requested and were granted an ex parte OTC, Mr. Moreno would not have been able to take Aaden.
Tucker said that DCF made its decisions in this case solely based on what they knew during that time.
DCF's actions have to be judged by the information before it at the time, not on the basis of 2020 hindsight.
Both sides are required to file a brief in the case by the end of next month, and after that, the judge will make his ruling. Live in Waterbury, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.